Imagine a world where a single legislative act in the United States could shake the foundations of global finance. That's exactly what the so-called Genius Act, introduced during Donald Trump's administration, has been labeled by experts in Russia and China, a potential trigger for a new currency war and a serious threat to global economic stability. Today, we dive into why these countries are reacting strongly, what the Genius Act entails, and what it could mean for the future of money, trade, and international relations. 1. What is the Genius Act? The Genius Act, officially named the Global Economic Neutralization and Innovation for United States Act, aims to strengthen the U.S. financial position worldwide through technological investments, sanction strategies, and new monetary policies. While it is framed as a tool to enhance American economic competitiveness, critics argue it has far-reaching implications for global finance, particularly targeting emerging markets and major economic powers like Russia and China. At its core, the Act proposes mechanisms to control or influence currency flows, expand U.S. dominance in digital finance, and secure access to critical global resources. It's not just about trade, it's about rewriting the rules of financial engagement in the 21st century. 2. Why Russia and China are alarmed. Russia and China view the Genius Act as a direct threat. From their perspective, it is more than policy, it's a calculated strategy to weaken competitors' financial autonomy while consolidating the dollar's dominance. For Russia, the concern lies in sanctions and currency manipulation. The act could empower the U.S. to impose stricter controls on cross-border payments, international lending, and access to resources. For China, the Genius Act could undermine the yuan's global expansion, particularly its efforts to establish yuan-denominated trade and digital currency platforms. Analysts warn that both nations see this act as a potential economic weapon rather than a neutral policy, creating an environment where every financial move by the U.S. could be interpreted as aggressive. 3. The concept of a new currency war. Currency wars occur when nations take aggressive steps to gain economic advantage, often through devaluing currencies, controlling exchange rates, or dominating financial markets at the expense of others. Experts in Moscow and Beijing argue that the Genius Act gives the U.S. tools to indirectly destabilize competing currencies and maintain an advantage in international trade. By leveraging digital finance, sanctions, and strategic investments, the U.S. could maintain an upper hand while limiting rivals' options. This is why analysts warn of a potential tit-for-tat escalation, where nations respond with their own financial innovations and restrictions, essentially a high-tech, 21st century currency battle. 4. The role of digital finance and innovation. One of the most controversial aspects of the Genius Act is its focus on digital finance. It includes provisions to promote the U.S. digital dollar, regulate cryptocurrencies abroad, and integrate new financial technologies into global trade systems. Russia and China are not sitting idle. China is aggressively promoting the digital yuan, now used in domestic and international transactions. Russia is exploring its digital ruble and alternative payment networks to bypass dollar-based systems. The Genius Act could give the U.S. leverage to dominate these emerging financial platforms, creating friction in a space already primed for competition. Experts warn that this shift toward digital currency control could redefine the global financial system, making it more centralized under U.S. influence and forcing other nations to adapt quickly or risk being sidelined. 5. Potential global fallout. If fully implemented, the Genius Act could have massive consequences for international finance. Countries reliant on U.S. trade and dollar-denominated assets could face pressure to comply with new regulations. Global investors might experience heightened volatility in currency markets, stock exchanges, and commodities. This could accelerate the creation of alternative trading systems, regional alliances outside the U.S.-led financial order, and decentralized digital currencies designed to bypass traditional dollar networks. Economists warn that this could lead to trade disputes, financial uncertainty, and geopolitical tension, all hallmarks of a new era in global economic competition. Everyday consumers could also feel the effects through higher prices, interest rates, and changes in investment returns. 6. Russia and China's strategic response. Both Russia and China have already signaled proactive responses. China continues to expand the international use of the yuan, building trade partnerships across Asia, Africa, and Europe. Russia is exploring gold-backed trade agreements, alternative payment systems, and digital currency networks to reduce dependency on the dollar. These steps are not just defensive, they are strategic moves to secure long-term financial independence. Analysts suggest that the Genius Act has accelerated global competition, forcing nations to innovate faster and strengthen economic sovereignty. 7. Could this trigger a global currency shift? Some experts believe the Genius Act may accelerate a broader trend toward a multipolar financial system. The US dollar, long considered untouchable, could face serious challenges if Russia, China, and other nations expand alternative systems. Digital currencies, gold-backed settlements, and regional trade agreements could reduce dependency on the dollar, creating a more fragmented but potentially more resilient global financial network. If tensions escalate, we may witness a fundamental restructuring of how nations trade, invest, and store wealth, redefining global economic power dynamics. Broader implications for everyday investors. While the Genius Act may seem distant, its impact could reach ordinary people worldwide. Currency fluctuations, market volatility, and trade disruptions can affect mortgage rates, stock portfolios, savings, and everyday prices. Staying informed is crucial. Understanding the geopolitical and financial moves of the US, China, and Russia can help investors navigate uncertainty, protect wealth, and even identify opportunities amid turbulence. Those who ignore these global shifts risk being unprepared for sudden financial shocks that could ripple across the world economy. 9. The takeaway. The Genius Act is more than legislation, it's a statement of economic power. Russia and China view it as a direct challenge, potentially sparking a new currency war and reshaping global finance. Whether it fully succeeds or provokes pushback, the act underscores the growing intersection of technology, geopolitics, and money in the 21st century. The global financial landscape is evolving rapidly. For investors, policymakers, and citizens, understanding these dynamics is critical. Decisions made today will echo for decades, influencing trade, currency, and worldwide financial stability. The world is watching. Subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell, and join thousands of viewers analyzing the latest moves in global finance. Be informed, be prepared, and never miss a critical update on the shifts that could define the future of money, trade, and economic power. The next global financial revolution may happen sooner than you think. Make sure you're ready.